Thank you guys again for joining today. So we are going to be talking about Google Chrome. So this is another session of Tech Buddies brought to you by the MPC Foundation. Um, so I just want to take a moment again to introduce myself. I'm Ryan and your co-teacher Vicky, who will be joining us at the end. I want to say a big thank you to Melanie for joining us from Youth Central, who will be our volunteer today and will be helping with the Q&A at the end of the session. So I just want to say, if you have any questions throughout this presentation as well, please feel free to ask because I'm more than happy to help out at any point if there's something that you don't understand. So again, today we'll be talking about Google Chrome. So Google Chrome is the web browser that you can download on both Android and on iOS operating systems. So I know today we're focusing mainly on Android, but Google Chrome is actually one that you can use on both operating systems. So whatever really platform you want to use, you can actually use Google Chrome on both. So I'll just really quickly talk about what Google Chrome actually is before we talk about how to install it. Google Chrome is a web browser. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what a web browser is, a web browser is like a platform that you can use to access the internet. Essentially, it's where you can go and find different web pages, download things, search, lots of different things on there. But there's lots of different web browsers out there. Google Chrome is one of them. Safari is another one. Firefox is another one. You've probably heard of Internet Explorer. That's another option. But today we'll be talking about Google Chrome and what that looks like and how to use it. So depending on which platform you're using, again, primary focus on Android, but you just go into either the App Store or the Google Play Store in order to download it. So this one's actually really easy to find. You just either type in Google Chrome or Chrome, and it'll probably be the first one on the list that actually pops up. Um, so on the Play Store, it will look like this. So it's a little circle with red, yellow, and green, and then a little blue circle in the middle there. So if you haven't already installed it, I'll get you to do that now. I believe if you have an Android phone, it comes pre-installed already. So if it already shows like this, where it says open, it probably means you already have it installed. So I'll just give everybody a moment to do that. Does everybody have Google Chrome installed? Yeah, guys. Uh, both put your hand up at the same time. How about ladies first? Lily.
Which Lily?
Oh, right. Two Lilies. Lily Chan.
Yeah, I already have the Google Chrome
Perfect.
in
You've got
my
it installed?
iPhone. Yeah, I got already.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's great. So if you want to open that up. Dave, do you have that installed as well?
Yeah, I have that installed too. Yeah.
Awesome. And Lily Wong, you've got that installed?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I go to the app. I couldn't find it, but I go to the app store. I type in Chrome and is Google Chrome and open like that.
If you pull it up to the,
Then
that means you already have it installed. So if you click on open, it'll open it up. But somewhere on your phone, you actually will have the little icon for Google Chrome already there.
But when I press open and they go to the Roger.com.
So that's actually okay. So what ends up happening is it's probably opening up the last web page that you had open, but it's being opened in Google Chrome. So this is what I was saying before about Google Chrome being a way to browse the internet. So through Google Chrome, you can go to pretty much any website out there, but Google Chrome itself is just the platform to do that. So if you already have a website open, that's no problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
And Ming and Lena do both. Oh, Ming, Lena, and Eleanor, do the three of you all have it installed?
Yes, I did.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Good to go. Are you guys all good for the app as well?
Yes.
Okay, so I will move forward here. All right, so when you first started up there, depending on if it's the first time you're starting it or if you've opened it up before, you may get a message that asks you to accept the terms and conditions that Google Chrome offers. So feel free to go through those if you'd like. Otherwise, you can accept and continue. If you don't see this page, don't worry. It probably just means that you accepted some other time when you first went into it. Most people don't really pay too much attention to these things, so I'm not surprised if you don't remember going through this. But if you do see this page pop up there, again, feel free to go through the terms and service. Otherwise, accept and continue, and then you'll be able to access it. So when you first start up Google Chrome, it might look like this. And I say might because if you already have a web page open, likely that will be what appears on your page rather than the one that's seen on the screen here. So what you're seeing in front of you is the default web page for Google Chrome. So this is what pops up when you first open it, or if you haven't changed the home page for Google Chrome. If you ever want to change the homepage for Google Chrome, you can do that under the settings, and I can show you how to do that afterwards. But what you're going to see on the main page here is a search bar at the top. So here you can add in the web address you want to go to. So type in anything you want there. Or conveniently enough, Google Chrome is actually linked with Google Search as well. So if you ever want to search for anything, you can actually type that up in the top here, and you will search using Google. Underneath that is frequent sites that you visit. So if you've gone to other websites before and you've gone to them regularly, Google Chrome will realize this and it will actually put little links on here for you just to help make it a little bit easier for you to get to them in the future. And below that, where it says latest news or articles that you might be interested in. So this one is where it's going to pop up with some information that you might find useful. You have to sign into your Google account to see this, and you can turn this off if you don't like it. There's a little gear on the right-hand side here that you can click to turn it off. But if you want to have it up, it'll ask you to sign in. So that's the main page that you'll see when you first sign in. Again, if you see a different page, that just means that you've already gone to another web page or you've changed your homepage. So when I say different web pages there, that's really easy to do. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called multitasking, but essentially in Google Chrome, multitasking means opening up a whole bunch of different web pages that you can use all at the same time. So in the top right-hand corner, and actually I'm going to bring up my little annotate button because I think it's easier to see on the screen. Just give me 1 second here. Spotlight. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so in the top right-hand corner here, you see where it says 14. It could say something different on your phone. It might say 1, it might say 2, it might say whatever number there. But what this is something called tabs. So tabs let you open up multiple web pages at the same time, essentially letting you multitask. So what that means is that you can do multiple things at the same time. Now, when you click on that little 14 or that little 1 or whatever number that you have on there, it's going to pull up a page that looks like this. So it's going to show you the web pages that you currently have open, and it'll allow you to open up new tabs. So you can open up another page without closing that previous page if you'd like. If you find that you have too many tabs open or you're finished with a tab, you can actually click the little X in the top right-hand corner of each of the little tabs there to get rid of it. I know 14 tabs, that's actually a lot of tabs. I'm pretty much a stickler when it comes to that. I usually only have a few open at any one time. My Vicky ends up opening like 100 tabs. So I think at a certain point, it's a little too much and it stops being multitasking and just ends up being a little bit cluttery, but that's okay. Any questions on this part so far? Good so far? Awesome. So the next thing I want to show you is just to the right of the tabs button, there is these 3 little dots. That will bring up the options menu here. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do in the options menu. So the first one that I want to point out is one called incognito. So what incognito is essentially is where Google Chrome will open up a very special kind of tab. It's like a private browsing tab. In this private browsing tab, it will not save history and it will not save cookies or any information for that page there. So times where you may want to use incognito, I use it when I'm shopping online a lot of the times, because then what ends up happening is those websites can't track you. They can't follow you around on the internet. So you could go to those web pages, you can shop around, you can close that incognito tab, And then if you go back in the future, they won't know that you've been there in the past. This sometimes matters for web pages because I've seen it before where you go once to a shopping site and then you go back again and the prices will have changed because they know that you're interested and they're going back. But it's one way that you can prevent that. Um, Effectively, incognito just means that the browser won't actually track you, won't keep any history on that. Now, one thing that I do want to stress for incognito is that even if Google Chrome doesn't track you, your internet service provider can still see the history of where you go. So whether you're using a regular tab or an incognito tab, your internet service provider can still see the history of where you're going. It's only in Google Chrome that incognito actually doesn't track you. So the next one that I want to show you is still under that options here is something called bookmarks. So in the top of that same page there, there's a little star. And that little star is actually the way that you can go to save a page in your bookmarks tab for future. So we've seen the star in previous sessions before where it's helping you to essentially mark something as important. And that's the same with Google Chrome as well. So what it'll do is it'll mark a web page as important and it'll save it so that you can access it in the future really easily. So if you click on this little star here, it'll save that page. Then in the future, if you click on the bookmark button here, you can go in and actually pull those up. So here's what it looks like when you click on the bookmark tab. It'll pull up this little page called bookmarks, and then you can go and find the different bookmarks that you have saved. Um, Now, again, this is one of those other things where it's really easy to become cluttered, where you can bookmark every page, and then the bookmarks tab doesn't really provide a lot of usage because there's so many on there that it's hard to find things. So use it sparingly, only for pages that you think are really important to you. Next one that I want to show you is history. So history tab here will bring up the history of how you've used Google Chrome. So what it'll show you is the most recent pages that you've used. I think you can actually change how long it'll keep history for, but in this case, what you're seeing is history for when this picture was taken. This is back in November of 2020 there. So on that page, there was a few websites that Coco went to who took this picture here. And the history allows you to remember things that you had done in the past there. So remember how I was telling you how incognito doesn't save history and a regular tab does? Well, if you had opened up an incognito tab and went to a web page, that history wouldn't show up under this section here because it wouldn't store it. It's only if you're under a regular tab that you're actually going to see history under this page here. And I know if you want to clear history, you can click on clear browsing data at the top here. And that will give you options to get rid of it if you don't want to have that. You can also clear individual web pages from your history as well if you don't want those to show up. Any questions so far? And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Good so far? Awesome, guys. Next one on here is the download section. So downloads essentially are where you go to web pages and pull some information off of that site there. So here on the right-hand side, when you open the download menu, is a few examples of what some of those downloads could have been. So one of the first ones here, abkidsmenu.pdf. So somebody downloaded a menu from the website pacini.com, so an Italian restaurant there. So when they downloaded this, they downloaded it as a PDF, so they could save that to their files, so they could access in the future without actually having to go back to the website to download it again. So essentially, this gives you a history of the things that you've downloaded. And on the right-hand side of each of the things that you've downloaded, the little dots there will let you either delete it or access it again if you haven't deleted it separately from Google Chrome. This one might be a little bit complicated because not every web page has things that you can download. And oftentimes, instead of downloading things, it'll just display it on the web page itself. Downloads are usually only important when you're getting files that are separate from the web page itself. I hope I'm explaining that correctly there. If you're saving an image from a website to your phone directly, that will show up under the download there. If you're saving like a PDF, some sort of document from the web page to your phone, that will also show up under downloads. But if you're just loading a web page, it won't show up under download. It's only if you're actually bringing that web page to your phone that it's going to show up here in this section. Does anybody have any questions on that part?
Good.
So far, so good on that one too?
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, the next one I want to show you is the settings section. So this page here has a lot of things that are quite useful to make your browsing experience better. So what this is going to bring up, so I'll start with the basic side of things there and then go on to the advanced side. But on the right here, this kind of section here is the basic menu that'll pop up when you first click the settings button. So on here, the first thing that you're going to see is your account information. So the account is going to be what you've used to sign in to your Google Chrome. Now, this is going to probably be your Gmail web address, but you can use other webs or other emails to sign in as well if you've got them synced with Google. Underneath that is Sync Google Services. What this is where if you're signed in on Google Chrome on here, and let's say you're signed in on Google Chrome on your computer as well, you can actually have it so that your history on your phone and your history on your computer, as well as all your bookmarks and passwords and everything else, will actually work on both devices. This can be useful because if you have your history or your favorites saved on your desktop, it's really easy for you to access it on your phone as well. So this is a service that I really like, and I do suggest turning it on if you don't already have that. Underneath that is your default search engine. So search engines are essentially what page you're using on the internet to search for things. So the two big ones are Google Search essentially, and Bing. That one's provided by Microsoft. So usually the default one when you open up Google Chrome is going to be Google itself as the search. If you want to change it, you can, although I usually find Google Search is pretty good, so I usually leave it at that. A few other things on here that you can access there. Passwords is where you can save your password history on Google Chrome. So you can actually have Google manage your passwords for you to make it easier to sign into web pages. Payment methods, this is where you could save like your credit card information. So if you go shopping online, instead of having to enter in your credit card information each time, you can save it under here so that it'll automatically fill it in. Same with addresses. So if you have your addresses saved in here, again, Google Chrome will automatically fill in those addresses for you. And then there's some details on privacy and notification that can make your browsing experience more customized to what you like there. A little bit farther down is going to be a section called Advanced. Now, under advanced, it will allow you to change a few different things here. So the homepage, that's one option where you can either change it to a website that you go to quite often, or you can actually just change it to Google's default one. And the one that I showed you at the beginning, that's Google's default one, but you can change it to any page you want. I think you can also just turn it off completely, so it just comes up with a blank page. Accessibility, this will give you options for making it easier if you have certain requirements for going online. So for example, you could make the text larger, or you could add a magnifier, or you could have a reading mode on there where it will actually tell you what you're reading there. Site settings, languages, light mode, download, and about Chrome, I'll leave those out for right now because those are just those aren't super relevant for just day-to-day browsing on Google Chrome. So does anybody have any questions at this point?
Good. So,
You guys are a quiet crowd today.
So what's the download one, underneath the light mode off?
Oh, sure. Let me go back. Oh, we went too far back. I'm going to go here. Okay, so the download one here, this is another section. Actually, I believe this part downloads here, and downloads here is actually going to give you the same information. Let me just pull that up under mine as well. I just want to actually see because I believe it actually will show you the same information. But let me just confirm that for you. Oh, okay. So what's going to show up under the downloads here versus the downloads here is the download section on on just under the main options here under the three little dots. This one here is just going to show you your download history. So what you've downloaded, what it looks like, being able to access that. The download section on here gives you some information on where where you want to download files to by default, as well as whether or not you want to download articles for you on Wi-Fi. I'm actually not 100% certain of what that one is. I think it's related to news, but the main one that you would find useful on this download section here under settings is just where is the default place that you want to save those files when you download a file. So if you've got a particular folder already set up on your phone where you always want those things to save to, you can set that up as the default when you click on this download button here. And then
Okay.
in the future, when you are downloading something or you want to see the history of your downloads, that would be this option here.
So how about the light mode? The light mode is off. So what is the benefit to turn it on?
Yeah, so what light mode is essentially is, and good question on that. Google Chrome is fairly smart, and what it tries to do is it actually tries to guess what you're going to do online, and based on what it thinks you're going to do online, it tries to pre-download that information without downloading other information. So what it's going to try to do is it's going to try to essentially optimize how much data you're using. Um, Ideally, what it's going to do is it's going to save you some data. It's not going to use as much data by using light mode as it would by using normal mode. But what essentially you're doing is you're giving Google the history of where you're going on the internet so that it can start figuring out what you like, what you don't like, how you normally use the internet to guess what you're going to do online in order to optimize how you browse. So if you are really sensitive about data on your phone, this one can be good to turn on because it can help save data in the future. If you're a little bit concerned about privacy, you may not necessarily want to have that setting turned on there. Does that make sense for what light mode is?
Yeah,
Perfect.
thank you.
No worries. Any other questions that anybody else has? Oh, actually, I will point out one thing here that you might find useful too. So most websites are now optimized for mobile browsing, but there was a time where most websites weren't really set up to essentially use on a cell phone. The mobile site that you would use was not so great compared to what you would see on your desktop computer. But in Google Chrome, you actually have one option on here called Desktop Site. So this is under the three little dots on the top there, where if you click desktop site, what you're going to do is you're actually going to request that the web page show you the desktop version of their page rather than the mobile version. You don't worry about using this for most websites, only if it looks really weird on your phone there. Like say it's a web page where you go to it regularly on your computer and it looks fine on your computer, but then you go to it on your phone and it looks a little weird, a little funky. That might be because the website isn't optimized for your phone. So what you can always do is click on this desktop site option here, and instead of getting the mobile version, it will actually show you the desktop version. So sometimes it can be a little bit easier to browse that way. But usually what will end up happening is when you're on the desktop site, because desktop computers have a bigger screen, oftentimes the actual web page itself will show smaller text and things may not be laid out quite as nicely as on the mobile version. So I'd say only use it again when it doesn't look quite nice on the mobile version there. So I've got a little mini quiz for you guys. So what is the symbol for bookmarking a page? Oh, wow. And my answer is already up. So yes, this isn't really a quiz if the answer already pops up here. But anyways, the symbol for bookmarking a page is a little star. So next question on that. Who can tell me how you would actually get to see the star? Where is the star located? Like how would you bookmark a page?
You just go to the three dot and press the bookmark.
You got it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll just go back quickly here. And so again, under the three little dots here, don't worry about the bookmark part here, but I've clicked on the three little dots, and at the top here is is the little star here. That's where you can click on it to bookmark it. And then in order to see your bookmarks, you'd go again into the three little dots and you click the bookmark button here. And then that would bring up this page here in order to be able to see the bookmarks that you've saved. Awesome, thank you. So next question, can you have more than one tab saved on the app? Can you have more than one tab open at the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And a question I actually don't have the answer to. What is the most tabs you've ever had open at one time? I've seen 100.
I've seen mine 10.
10? Oh, that's pretty good too.
10. I was getting pretty nervous. Saw the big number.
I've had 55 open once.
55. Wow, that's so many.
Now, when you have too many open, would that slow down the function of your phone?
It can, because what'll end up happening is when you have when you have tabs open there, each of those tabs takes a little bit of memory in order to run them. Now, usually what'll end up happening is when you have the tab open, that web page is paused. So effectively, it's not being accessed while you're on a different tab. So it's not going to be running a lot of it's not going to be using a lot of memory or a lot of processing power having multiple tabs open, but just having the program remember that you have a whole bunch of tabs open will use a little bit of memory. It's not going to affect you that much. Again, it really comes down to usage and whether or not it's actually beneficial to you to have that many tabs open. For example, 55 tabs is a lot of tabs, and are you really going to be referencing all those tabs at the same time there? I mean, maybe you are. It might be a pain when you're going through a lot of information like that, so it can be quite useful. How about you guys, Lena, Ming, Eleanor? Do you have any questions so far? You've been very quiet.
No.
So good. So far, so good? No problem. Okay, so we don't actually have a fairly big room right now. So we're not going to go into breakout rooms. We're actually just going to stay on here and then everybody can learn about it here. But I would like to again introduce Melanie, our volunteer today, who will be going over a few different things. So flight options using Google Flights, check for flight updates, find a place, and check weather. But I will leave that to Melanie to explain. And actually, why don't you just tell me when you want me to change slides there, as I don't think I can give you access. Maybe I can.
So I think for that part, we can try to answer participants' question first, if there's any. Then if not, then we can go through the slides.
Oh, sure. We were actually just doing that just before you joined on.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
With that being said, does anybody else have any other questions before we start going through these slides?
No.
Oh,
Cool.
it's all good.
Okay. So Melanie, tell me when you're ready and I will go forward.
All right. Yeah, let's go. All righty. So we are going to learn how to Google Flights. So as Ryan, sorry, this is my first time doing this too, so please be patient with me. So like Ryan was describing, ooh, my screen is too bright for that. On Google Chrome, you have your search bar. So we are going to click that and type in Google Flights. And once that is typed in, we press go.
So we're going to the Google Flight CA, right? Not the .com, right?
No, we only type in Google Flights.
Okay.
So this is us searching something on the internet, not going to a website directly.
Oh, okay.
And once, let's see. I just need to make sure that my webpage looks like the example. And then next, you would click the first link you see, which says Google Flights.
Everybody able to follow along so far?
Yeah.
With this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then we will copy the example that's on the slide. So you'll see, ooh, yes.
Calgary to where?
Yeah, so from Calgary, we will write in for our destination, the where to, we'll put in Vancouver.
Much nicer weather than here.
Oh, beautiful. But I think I saw a bit of snow.
The world is probably ending then.
Okay. Yeah. Today,
And then,
February.
you know what, yeah, let's keep it on the dates they probably already gave you. So on my website, it says March 2nd to March 6th. Is that what it says on everyone else's?
Yes.
March
Yes.
8 to
March 2nd to March 6th. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mine is not.
mine is March 8 and March 12.
Okay, so in order to change that, we would click the first date and click March 2nd.
March 2nd. Okay. Oh,
And then,
yeah, change.
yeah, and then for the end date, so when you would fly back, it should have automatically changed to March 2nd. But if it hasn't, you can just click, March 6th. You can click March 6th and then click done.
Okay.
And then you have to scroll past a few of their warnings with and then you'll see, let's see, the best departing flights.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, they look a little expensive.
And just remember, the example that you see on the screen may not be exactly what you see on your phone. Prices change all the time, and when this one was done, prices were a certain amount, so you might see something a little bit different on yours.
Best departure flight. Wow, very expensive.
Yeah.
570 to Vancouver. Is this one is the single trip or round trip?
This is, good point.
Round trip.
So in order to find out if it is a round trip or single trip, it will say underneath the price.
Underneath the price.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, round trip.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions so far?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm Lina. I don't have the March date.
Can you
Is-
show
You can
me?
change it.
Yeah, how I change it to March?
Mhm. So you click the date. What month are you at? Let's see. Okay, let's see. So for you, Lena, you would
Yes.
scroll down.
Scroll down.
So from February, you would go to March. Oh, well, I see your screen. Something happened.
Yeah. Now it's April.
Scroll up 1 month. You went a little too far.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see the cost, the price too
Mm-hmm.
from the calendar.
This is Google's way of like flipping through the calendar, except you're just scrolling up and down. So for March, you would click March 2nd.
March 2nd. Yeah.
And then for the end date, you would click March 6th.
Oh, March 6th. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you have those two dates, you would click done.
Oh, yeah.
In the washroom. In the washroom. We'll call you back. Okay, like that. Well, yeah. Well,
That's right?
Yes.
okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Does anyone else have any other questions?
No.
All right, then.
Perfect. So I think we'll move on to the next one.
Wow.
Ooh, now I'm learning new things. Alrighty, so for here, we are going to be looking for flight updates. Let me give this a try. Okay, cool. I figured out how this works. Okay.
Sorry, as I break the whole screen, just give me 1 second. I'll get back to that. There we go.
AC.
So we are going to use the search bar, which should now be at the top of your screen, and type in AC295.
Okay.
So we go back to the home screen.
You don't have to. So the nice part about the search bar, which is also where your link is, you don't have to go back to your homepage in order to use the search bar.
Okay, so how I do that? I don't see a search bar on mine.
So do you see where your link is? At the very top, you'll see google.com/
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can click that. And then everything should be highlighted. So everything should be blue. And you can type in AC295.
Okay, so I have that Google Calgary to google.com. That's what I have on my screen right now.
Oh, I see. Can you click the X button? That should be top left for you.
Yeah, but I don't now I don't see that screen, the other page now. I out of that page.
See where it says Google Flights? You can click there and type in AC295. Just where that little magnifying glass is at the top.
Okay, so if I go past, like the Google file.
Oh, very top. So a little bit higher than where you're clicking.
Okay.
Oh, are you in Google Chrome? Or are you in the Google app? I think you're
I
on
don't
a
know.
different app. I think you're in Google app rather than Google Chrome.
Also, I'm not in the Google.com.
So the one that you're looking for, I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can see the screen right. So like as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of different Google apps on my phone there. So the one that you're probably in is probably this second one right here. You actually want to go into what's called Google Chrome. So the one with this icon here.
Okay.
Sorry, I know there's a little bit of a reflection here, but that's actually the app that you want to be going into for this example.
Okay, because okay, I have to set the Google as a default browser app.
If you'd like to. Yeah, that'll give you.
Then I'll go to Google File.
That should make it easier to follow along with Melanie's example.
Google File.
Has everyone else searched in
Okay, yeah.
295? Awesome.
Good.
And Lily Wong, how is it going?
Just try to get back into the same page. Just change the day. Okay, and now I'm in.
No need to change the date, right? Just click on
Okay.
AC295.
Okay, now I'm on, suppose it's Google Chrome, I think, the same, but where I go to that search thing. I don't have the search thing.
So do you see the bar at the top of the page there? Like at the top of your screen, there's a bar. It says something like Google something on it. You can click on that with your finger, and then a little keyboard should pop up.
Yeah.
And then just type in AC295. And then hit enter or OK.
So, yeah, I guess, yeah, I get it.
Perfect.
Well, as everyone can see, this is how we can check for flight updates. As long as you know the flight code, you can put it through Google and it will update you.
This is really useful. I use this all the time because usually flight numbers will stay the same for different flights. This one's Winnipeg to Vancouver, but it'll also let you change the dates as well on here. So you can pull up different dates to see if that flight is still on time, to figure out where in the route it is. So if you're following somebody else who's flying to see you, you can follow their flight schedule. So this is a really useful page to be familiar with. So remember, in Google, all you need to do is just type in the flight code and it will pull up the details for it. Google's so smart. So.
All right. And now we are going to find the addresses of Calgary Lab Services using Google Chrome. So just like how we found our flight updates, we are going to click our search bar that is at the top. And we are going to type in Calgary Lab Services. And once that is all typed, you press go. I love pressing go. It makes me so happy. And then sometimes the map is a little lower on the page, so you do need to scroll down. And if your page is saying the same thing as mine, then you'll see how the laboratories are all closed.
Today is not a good day to go for lab services.
So mine is one open. And in here, I have, you have the direction and call. I have the website and direction.
Ours might be showing different locations because of where we are located.
Okay.
Yeah, so the ones near my home are currently all closed, but the ones near your home, they might be open. And so it'll say, well, it'll say open.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
Okay, mine is open and closed at 3 p.m. Badminton.
So the webs, they don't have a call number, the symbol. They have the website and direction.
I think you just tap on the phone, the call, the phone shape, the size.
Yeah, I know, but they don't have the call. I understand normally before I have the call when I search, but now it's have the website.
Ah, I see that, Lily one. I've never seen that.
What you can always do with that is if you click, so if you just to the left of the call and the directions is the actual details for the different like locations. If you
Yeah.
click on one of these on this part of the link here, it will actually bring up all the details for that location. So it should include if they have a phone number, directions, the website. So it might just be that on your page it's showing you directions and website because that's probably what it thinks you'll use most often. But if you click on the part just to the left of that, like this main link here, then it'll pull up the rest of the details, including the phone number.
Sure, yeah. It's not. I use that all the time, but it's just kind of different after I changed the Chrome.
This is the slight learning curve for this part.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
All right, next we are going to search my favorite thing to find on the internet, the weather. So just like always, we use the search bar that is at the very top, and you can just type in weather. And once you're ready, you press go, and it should show you the weather in Calgary.
Look at when this was taken. 15 degrees in Calgary.
I wish it is right now.
I missed that.
If your screen is looking like mine, unfortunately, it will say 2 degrees. Sorry, what was that, Lily Chan? You're muted right now.
Sorry. For me, it's 2.
Yeah.
Actually,
Actually,
it was 15.
much warmer now.
I'll take the example image over yours. I like the 15 better.
Yeah, I like the 2 better than -20.
I guess that's true too. It's all relative.
That's true.
Has everybody been able to find their weather on here?
Yeah, all good.
If you do end up typing in weather, it should pull up the location where you are right now. However, what it might do is if you have your privacy changed so that you aren't sharing your location, it might just guess your location, but there's a little button at the top here called update location. If you ever need to change it to something else, you can click that little update location button and change it to a different place if you want to see the weather somewhere else. So I think this is.
I don't see the update location, eh?
Oh.
I don't have that.
What does yours say instead?
Pardon me?
What does yours say instead?
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't have one.
Oh, yours does not say anything at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah, that's okay. What you can also do is, worst comes to worst, and it's not typing in or it's not pulling up the location that you want. What you can do is instead of just typing weather, you can type weather and then the city. So for example, right now I have weather here and it pulls up Calgary. However, I could type in, like say I wanted to see the weather in Vancouver. So I could actually type in weather Vancouver and it should actually pull up the weather for Vancouver as well. So you can just type in weather and then the city name and it will pull it up there. So that's the way that you can do it if you don't, unfortunately, have your location shared.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Vancouver is 6.
Beautiful.
Still cool, but not bad.
It's raining.
Every day.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Ming, Eleanor, is everything going all right? Show me a thumbs up if everything's going all right.
Yeah, okay, good.
Thumbs up, thumbs up. All thumbs up. Awesome.
Yeah, it's okay.
Good,
So
good.
far, so good.
So now the final example on here.
Is finding current news. So,
News.
ooh, how I hope the news is positive for this one. We will put into the search bar COVID. COVID and press go. And once your page has loaded, you will then click news.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see,
News.
yeah, you'll see on your screen now, you'll see a whole bunch of different articles that talk about COVID-19.
Yeah.
I don't know how your phone might show it, but on my screen for my Google, it's separated into top news and local news.
Yeah,
Yes,
the top
yes.
news, yeah,
Yeah.
Top news.
account for the herd immunity.
Yeah.
Local news, COVID life update.
Yeah, so Google will try to show you what is relevant to you and what they think is currently popular. And yeah, this is just a way to find news online. So say if you want to find other news, like maybe how the Calgary Flames is doing, you can also search that up. But yeah.
Mhm. Oh,
Perfect.
Hmm.
Any questions on that part?
good.
Yes. Local news.
And I think that is the last example here. So
Okay.
again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Otherwise, I believe this is the end of our session for today.
Awesome.
So I just want to say thank you so much to Melanie for volunteering
Thank
today and
you.
for doing the Q&A at the end there and showing us a lot of really good tools. Again, this presentation will be posted on YouTube by the MPC Foundation in a little while there. So just give them a bit of time to put that up. So if you do have any questions or you want to refresh your memory on some of the things,